The shapes that searched for touch. Long ago, in a world ruled by lines and edges, lived the shapes. They were all different: cubes, spheres, pyramids, half moons. Some were crystal clear, others made of clay. Some were soft like rubber, and a few had spikes, fur, or tiny cracks. And even though each of them had its own beauty, none of them was truly happy with themselves. Each believed that only their surface, their structure, their way of existing was the perfect one. So the shapes argued and collided. Sharp ones scratched, fragile ones cracked, and only the old alchemist, who lived quietly among them, observed in silence. He wrote in his book, "When a shape insists on being only itself, it pushes the world away. But when it lets another shape touch harmony, is born." Among all of them lived one special shape. It had a small dent, barely visible, but impossible to ignore. The others laughed. "Ha! You're broken! Ha! You're imperfect!" The shape tried to stay strong, but inside it hurt. It hid among their large cubes, so no one would see its dent. One morning, the alchemist returned from a faraway shore with a sphere. The sphere had a strange bump on it. Because of it, it couldn't roll straight. Everyone avoided it too. The alchemist placed the sphere next to the shape with the dent, and something unusual happened. They touched. The bump of the sphere fitted perfectly into the dent of the other shape. Two imperfect parts suddenly formed a wholeness. You see, the alchemist smiled. Sometimes only a crack shows where the light fits in. From that day, the two shapes were inseparable. They moved together, supported each other, and even their edges began to soften. The other shapes watched them, no longer laughing, but quietly wondering. But one day, during a storm, the sphere cracked. Its surface split, and it shattered into tiny fragments. The shape with the dent was left alone. The silence around it was sharper than any noise. The world turned cold. The place where the touch used to be now ached, not on its surface, but deep inside. The alchemist did not interfere. He simply stayed nearby and watched sadness turn into quiet. Time passed. The alchemist gently brought another shape, soft, wave-like. It didn't try to fit perfectly. It simply stayed close. It wrapped the delicate shape with gentle curves, without touching the painful spot directly. And then something shifted. The pain didn't disappear. but it became softer, warmer, a memory rather than a wound. The shape with the dent whispered, I thought I could be loved only when someone filled my emptiness. But now I see I can be loved even with it. The alchemist wrote in his book, a shape that has no loss becomes deeper. Its mark is not a scar, but a memory of its ability to connect. From then on, in the world of shapes, imperfection began to be valued, because it is precisely what allows us to touch, to complement, to feel. And those who once loved now sought partners not for their shine, but for the way their hearts felt upon touch.